Today's writing vlog is very exciting because I'm ready to move on to the next step of my book, which is plotting. I have spent a lot of time recently brainstorming ideas for my novel, and now it's time to take those ideas and turn it into a story. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Stephanie, and I am writing a book for the very first time with absolutely no writing experience. I've been brainstorming for a few weeks. I think it's been 2 to 3 weeks. And it's time for me to move on. I've got 9 pages of brainstorming ideas that I have got to sift through, and I've got to create my story. So today's task is going to be going through my brainstorming, like I just mentioned. I'm going to read through everything and decide what ideas I want to keep for the story. There are some things that I wrote lists down, like lists of ideas, and I need to go through and narrow those down to 1 or 2 ideas and potentially just pick one. Once I'm done reviewing all the brainstorming and I've kind of made my decision as to either what I want the story to be or at least the main ideas I want to think about, I'm going to write a summary. Now this is a little bit different than what I did previously. Before, I just jumped right into planning out a lot of the details and scenes for chapters and doing the index card method. What I found is I need to take a little bit of a step back before I do that stuff and really focus on the overall story. Because I was trying so hard to work out the details, I didn't really think about the story as a whole. So today I'm going to write a probably half-page summary. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. It will be however long it needs to be. I'm going to start off talking about the characters, where they are, what's going on in the world, and then talk a little bit about their journey or the progression of the journey through the story. And then I'll talk about the ending of the story as well. The intention is not to go into detail, into scenes, or to explain anything in a way that I need to make things to make sense, if that makes sense. The sole focus of today is just to come up with a summary that I can refer to when I'm working on my book in the future. I think this will be really helpful for me, especially as I move into the more detailed planning of my book, that I can have this small summary that I can refer to and read to remind myself what my story is and to not stray unless it makes sense, and to keep my focus on what the core of the story is. My plan is to finish this all in one day. It's the afternoon right now, and I think I can do it because a summary, I might regret saying this later, but a summary should be pretty easy, or writing a summary shouldn't take that long. I don't know. I'm very anxious to get started with this. I have been waiting to plot my novel for like a week now. I just haven't had time to sit down and work on my book. So I have some time right now. I have the afternoon and the evening. I don't know how much time I will need, but I will sit down and work on my brainstorming first, and then I will use that to start writing the summary of my novel. It is day 2 of trying to plot my novel. I'm writing the summary, still working on it. Yesterday, I came up with 2 different summaries. Still wasn't really thrilled about either one, and they're not complete. I've got a nice chunk of time this afternoon, and my goal is to sit down and actually finish the summary. And as I think about it, and as I was reviewing ideas yesterday, I think what's going to end up happening is that I have multiple summaries, not like 50, but maybe like 3 or 4 different summaries. And I'm going to pick at a later date which one will be my story. Because I want to reflect on it a little bit and think as an author, like what would be the most fun to write, or where do I have the most ideas that I can write? Because as I'm writing these summaries and I have plot ideas, that's really all it is a plot idea. It's not really fully developed or anything like that. So I don't really know if it's good for writing. I am a lot more energized today, which is something I want to talk about. Yesterday, I was not really in the mood to work on the book, but it was really the only time I had to work on the book. And so I kind of forced myself to work on it, which in the past I know doesn't work, but I've just been feeling really guilty because I've had other stuff going on and I haven't been able to dedicate time to it. So when I had a chunk of time like I did yesterday, I really wanted that time to be dedicated to my book, even though I wasn't mentally feeling like working on my book. This morning I woke up and I'm much more energized. I'm much more excited about working on my book. I think I'll be able to finish what I need to or come really close to it. I've still got all my stuff here, so I'm going to jump right into working on summaries for my plot. I am done with my summaries, and I have 3 summaries in total. This wasn't the way I originally started out this project yesterday. My goal was to have 1 complete summary and be done, but I'm actually really happy with the approach that I've taken in coming up with 3 different summaries. Some of these summaries I knew I could immediately write an entire book about the plot. Others, I thought the plot idea was really interesting or fascinating, but I wasn't really quite sure how to write 300 pages worth of material for it, or to keep a reader interested for that period of time. In addition to developing the 3rd summary, I did go back and review the first 2 that I did yesterday, and I expanded upon them a little bit, and actually working on one of them gave me an idea for the 3rd summary. So now that I've got these summaries, what I need to do now is really take a close look at them and think about which one would be best for me to write. As I just mentioned, some of these could be easy to write and some could not. And so I need to really take a look at the plot and what it would entail. What kind of additional things could I throw in? Because right now I only have like a sentence or 2 that explains the entire plot, and I'm going to need chapters. I'm not going to do more writing on this. I'm just going to sit and think about it because I want to make sure I pick the idea that I like the best and that I'm excited to write about the best. I do like all 3 of these ideas. I think they're all great. I think it's important for me at this point to take a break, take a step back, let these ideas soak in my head a little bit, and let me play around with how I might write it. And then in a few days, I can make a decision as to which summary works best for me. Overall, this was a really great exercise. I really enjoyed it. It was really helpful for me to sit down and actually think about what the entire story would be. Doing this exercise really forced me to come up with a beginning, middle, and end immediately. That was something I had struggled with previously. I would come up with like 2 of the 3. And even though it was hard and it was difficult to come up with this and challenging, I'm glad I was able to kind of hash this out now, as opposed to trying to fit it into my story later. And now I have a complete summary, whichever one it may be, that I can refer to over the course of writing this book. And of course, I plan on updating this summary, especially if I change the story a little bit or it goes in a different direction. But the idea of the summary is just to remind me of the story and to keep me focused and to help me build the plot in the next phase of preparing for my book. My plan now is that once I've chosen my summary, I will start the index card method. So you will see a whole video about me using the index card method, maybe multiple videos, I don't know. I loved doing this the last time and I'm so excited to do it again. And I will be plotting out my entire book on index cards, and it's going to be a really fun time.